right, good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Tom Hopcroft. I'm the President and CEO of the Mass Technology Leadership Council. And I want to thank you for all being here today for the kickoff of the Massachusetts Security Initiative with the launch of Cyber Massachusetts. I'd like to thank Foley HOAG for hosting us here today in their offices, and all of our global sponsors for their support throughout the year. They're listed on the back of your programs, along with some of our upcoming programs and events. As many of you know, Massachusetts is a global leader in technology and innovation. Companies here are at the forefront of the next major wave of computing. No longer is computing constrained to computers. Our future is one that is being created right here in the university and corporate labs and companies, is one of smart, connected, and secure things. Automobiles, utilities, farms, medical equipment, and more will serve us in new and better ways through their interconnectivity and deep computing power. The future is about data, analysis, insights, and action. But where this technology brings intelligence and great value, it also creates vulnerabilities that not only impact the productivity and the way we live, but in some cases are a matter of life and death. So even before the president signed the cybersecurity executive order, and before the WannaCry ransomware attack that affected over 300,000 computers, Massachusetts technology community recognized the critical role of securing our hardware, software, data, networks, and devices. It is the reason that Massachusetts has one of the world's leading security clusters, comprised of over 70 security services firms and countless seasoned security leaders in companies throughout the Commonwealth, as well as our academic institutions, community organizations, and leadership at the state and national level. Many members of this community are here today, and in particular, I'd like to recognize the co-chairs of Mass TLC's security community who work with Sarah Frame on our staff. Mark French is the Chief Information Security Officer at Endurance, and Kevin O'Brien is the co-founder and CEO of Great Horn, a security services firm. Mass TLC has been convening its security community for over the past several years in private meetings, including those of our CISO peer group, and public events like our successful security conferences and the security threads in the other areas we cover, like transportation and artificial intelligence and others. We started by sharing best practices, building networks, educating our community, and opening dialogue with policymakers. Today, we are adding to this legacy another component that will strengthen this industry-led Massachusetts Security Initiative. I've known Phil Bond for many years, and he has an extensive background in government, industry, and advocacy roles. He's the executive director of Cyber USA, and will be up here in just a minute to share more about how it came to be and what this multi-regional initiative can offer to the tech industry. Last year, Phil invited me to join the esteemed advisory group for Cyber USA, which includes Honorary Chairman Tom Ridge and national and regional leaders from across the nation. Given Massachusetts' leadership role, it didn't take long before Phil asked us to formally join Cyber USA with the launch of Cyber Massachusetts. Seeing the potential, we took up the challenge. So Cyber Massachusetts is the regional affiliate to Cyber USA. We have an amazing cyber community here in Massachusetts, and through this initiative, we are internetworking it more deeply with other like-minded professionals in Washington, D.C., and in the other regional groups across the nation. We will share and benefit from programming, networking, community building, and information exchange between Massachusetts, Cyber USA, and our regional affiliates. Thanks to TrueStar and their CEO, Paul Kurtz, who is here in the back with us today, authenticated members will gain access to a robust, privacy-preserving, real-time threat intelligence and collaboration platform. Qualified Mass TLC members will receive a free license to this platform, and Sarah Frame on my team, who leads the security efforts, can help anyone who wants to get set up with that. And finally, Cyber Massachusetts is supporting Cyber Secure America with discounts for members who want to have a more active role in helping shape federal cyber policy and engaging with key government officials. So it is now my great pleasure to to introduce Phil Bond. Phil is one of America's most honored technology policy experts and the leader of the firm that bears his name. A former U.S. Undersecretary of Commerce for Technology, his 25-plus year career in Washington has included numerous citations for his leadership role in the executive branch, on Capitol Hill, and at major technology companies, and as the CEO of Tech America, the largest technology advocacy association in the country. Phil is the executive director, as I mentioned, of Cyber USA, and I'd like to welcome him to the stage to tell us a little bit about Cyber USA. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for your leadership here at Mass TLC and the beginnings here of this new cyber community, and a special thanks to Sarah Frank, too, who's been so critical to that. It's a privilege for me to be here with you today to tell you a little bit about Cyber USA, how it came to be, where it is today, and where it's going, what its mission is. It was about a year and a half ago that David Powell, co-founder of Cyber Maryland, who is with us today and who's the vice chairman now of Cyber USA, contacted me and began to talk about a vision that really was born out of Cyber Maryland, to take the community they had there, about 1,500 different people from academics, from companies, from government, all in this key cyber community, and working on innovation and economic development and workforce development, how they could take that and go national. They had already spawned some similar organizations, Cyber Texas, SC Cyber in South Carolina, Cyber California. And we were talking about how would we take that out. My contribution was maybe in 2 or 3 areas. One, I said, well, you don't want to go build 47 other organizations. That takes too much time. And I knew from my service in government that Tom alluded to that there was this layer of leading technology associations around the country in almost every state. And because of the world in which we live in now, if you're a technology community, you're going to be a cyber community. So I knew there were leading cyber communities around the country. So I said, let's build a model that incorporates the talent that's already formed in communities around the country. So that was one. I'll come back to that in a moment. Secondly, I said, well, let me reach out to my buddy Tom Ridge and see if we could possibly convince the nation's first Secretary of Homeland Security to be involved in this. Thrilled that he said yes and is the honorary chairman of Cyber USA today. But not only that, Tom then came to the kickoff at the end of October of last year at Cyber Maryland to announce Cyber USA, because he was enamored of this idea, which is central to the DNA of Cyber USA. If we're going to be secure, it's not going to come from Washington out to the country. It's going to come from the country into the Beltway. Taking the leading communities where people are collaborating already, working on their workforce, working on their economic development, working on innovation, putting large and small companies together, policies from the public sector into that to build innovation. Those ideas, those best of breed around the country coming to Washington was going to be the real key to cybersecurity. So we were excited about that model, taking the best of breed around the country, trying to build a community of communities, which is what we refer to ourselves at Cyber USA as. But there was one other thing, and David Powell gets credit for this thing, you know, if we're going to bring a community of communities together, why don't we also bring a threat sharing community together as well? And so we reached out to our friend Paul Kurtz, CEO of TrueStar, a leading new platform in that space that anonymizes on the edge and takes the risk away from sharing your incidents and threats with others in your community, even a competitor. No worry, they don't know, they just know somebody in the community has that threat. And then knitting those together around the country so that here in Massachusetts, you can look at the threats in your community, big and small. Big maybe it will help small to fix the problem. But then if you see something in your community that no one else has, you can see it, has it shown up in Texas, has it shown up in California, and find remediation, find the best practices to deal with that. So those became the 2 founding pillars of what Tom Ridge announced on October 21st in Maryland, that we would have a threat sharing platform in common to everyone so they can share those incidents, find solutions. And then secondly, that we would share on the communication side. So Cyber USA's vision, I'm going to stand stage right just a little bit, content, communications platform. We're going to take national leaders like Rodney here, who's going to speak to you later about workforce, or Rob Joyce talking to you from the perspective of the White House cybersecurity advisor. The leading policies, leading thoughts, a new bill that's introduced, a new grant program that may be possible. Make sure all of our communities around the country, whether you're in Hawaii, Alaska, Georgia, or up here in Massachusetts, you know real time what's happening with the latest news. So we'll share content. We'll also share best programs. For instance, the rest of the country may want to see how you guys handled your launch here today. We'll share that with the other affiliates. So communications, real time, keeping everybody current, so your companies can excel, your academic institutions can excel. But then on the threat sharing platform, making sure we're staying right on top of the threats. Paul Kurtz likes to say, bad guys coordinate and collaborate every day, 24/7. It's high time the good guys started collaborating and coordinating 24/7. So that's our vision. We were so excited to come here to Massachusetts because obviously this is one of the world's leading epicenters of security, with so many great companies, great academic institutions, real innovation, finance, and other things happening here. It was just critical that along with leading areas like California, Texas, Maryland, that we have Massachusetts active with a big community. We knew that Mass TLC was the beginning of that, that they had the basis to start that and then grow it out to really cut across all sectors to secure Massachusetts, secure one another, and also build an economy around cybersecurity. So that is what Cyber USA is about. We are thrilled beyond words to have Massachusetts now as one of our leading affiliates and enclaves in this effort. And Tom, again, thank you to you for all of your leadership here at Mass TLC. Thank you.